So, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's just an interesting way of doing this video launch. For this one, it's a little bit different because, as quite a few of you will have noticed, as we've gone into 2026, I've rebranded the channel as Simulation Section. So welcome to Simulation Section. It's still run by me, otherwise known as Andmore Central. I'm still doing the main Andmore Central channel. And in this video, as we go through it, we will have a little bit of a chat as to why I have changed the name of it and what that means for the content, all exciting stuff, I promise, what exciting stuff it means for the content and what stuff you can look forward to. So, our first proper full 2026 video of the normal schedule finds us at Lincoln Bus Station in Lincolnshire version 5. Yes, we featured this in a couple of videos ago. I did a video where I drove this without any audio from me, so you could just hear the bus sound, you couldn't hear me, I had the mic switched off, because I was doing a few bits in the background and what have, and it was a bit of a busy evening, so I thought I could drive, but I wasn't able to have a natter with you all for about an hour and a half. But today I can. Today I can have that natter, and in this video we are going to be driving, as I say, Mr. Moose's creation, the wonderful Lincolnshire map, version 5. It is a work in progress as this, it isn't finished. We are going to be driving this route, the 103, all the way from Lincoln to Scunthorpe, pretty much across the majority of North Lincolnshire. Very exciting. As I have said many times before, I've been on this route in real life. There's actually a YouTube video on the Andmore Central channel of me sampling this route with a dead start. So it is really, really cool. I absolutely love sort of having the opportunity to drive it. And as I say in this video, I will showcase what you can enjoy in upcoming version 5, which is the 103. If you don't want to watch a video without commentary and bits like that, or you'd like to watch it in the opposite direction, you can check out my other video that I did. I took the 200 MMC over Sunset from Scunthorpe to Lincoln. You can go and check that video out as well. That will be in the top right corner at some point. But for now, as I say, here we are. We'll have a little bit of a natter about the route and natter about maps and bits and a few other bits and bobs as we go. So we'll get our vehicle all set up. That's not the plan. Let's just manually. Let's go. There we go. So in front of us is the V3D Optare Solo, the Digibus Mirage, or as I know it, the Optare Solo. This wasn't the original bus of choice for me, if I'm entirely honest with you. I initially recorded this video with the V7 Gemini, but OBS had a little bit of a wibble, so here we are again. Now, when I drove the V7 Gemini, I had a bit of an issue with the steering and the braking. For some reason, the facelift dashboard V7 seemed to be incredibly sensitive. So I thought, for the re-record and actually recording this properly and doing full run, I thought I'd choose the Optare Solo. And in the latest, absolutely beautiful repaint by Mark Hodgkinson. Mark has been doing repaints based on South Yorkshire transport from the PTE era, the mainline era, the deregulation era. They've been doing repaints for OMSI 2 for years, and longer than I've been playing OMSI 2. The latest creation by Mark Hodgkinson is the Eager Beavers livery for the Optare Solo. That's kind of like what my bus is in. My bus is in the little nipple livery. This was sort of the thing that followed later on, so through the back end of deregulation, as it had happened when mainline, as the brand was launched in the 90s, Eager Beavers was launched as sort of like the little nipper of the 90s to compete against the other operators. The repaint there's so much detail on it, the meticulous detail is just absolutely beautiful as per Mark Hodgkinson's every repaint that they do. All the branding, all the legal lettering, all the little bits are included, and as you can see inside, there is branding throughout. There's a branding for the bendable shuttle, the Meadowhall shuttle, and there's all sorts of different branding on. Absolutely beautiful, lovely maquetted interior, lovely external livery, and as I say, we should get some nice screenshots of this out today. I am hoping very soon that Mark Hodgkinson does make a repaint of the Little Nipper for the solo, because I believe he's done this and another repaint, and I can't think of the Optare solo blind spot, we'll ignore that, and I was too busy having a chin wag. Slowly pulled out and the van was like, no, not today. So we will ignore that and we'll go around to stand. The joys of the Optare solo, massive pillar blind spot. So I am hoping that the Little Nipper repaint is made, so if you are watching, I absolutely love your work as usual. Please, can I have a livery replicating my love boss? Please, actually, it would be very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed to have it replicated my livery. Because I know we've got this and we've got another livery that I have covered in a previous video. For some reason, the livery itself escapes my mind, even though I literally saw it a couple of seconds before I began recording this video, because I selected the livery and I scrolled down and had a look. So the registration as well, Y254, I believe HHL, I might have got the last bit wrong, but I know definitely Y254, sorry, Y254 was one of the old Doncaster Dart solos, so one of the little mini solos that ran around Doncaster. Y254, I believe, ended its life at First Bus in Halifax. It's a bit of a random one, but they sort of cascaded them out altogether, and that's how I ended up acquiring my Optare solo, because that was also cascaded out at the same time. Bradford got solos, 2 places on DDA compliant ones. Halifax got the 2 Y Rangers, and they literally just got them to run them up to the DDA deadline. So that's why they sort of weren't. People didn't know that much about them, because as I say, they sort of ran them up to and around the DDA deadline, and then got shut of them at Halifax. But the ones at Bradford, such as mine, were transferred directly because of the It does look so cool. I honestly cannot get over how good this livery looks. I saw it was released a couple of weeks ago, and I just saw the screenshot that was included with the repaint sort of download on the website, and I was just like, what's happening? I mean, to be fair, I've pretty much got all of my Hodgkinson repaints, and they're absolute stunning. Meticulous detail as well is just so on point. As you can see, we've got the main line, the region's favourite on the cap door as well. And as I say, the detail on the repaints is just absolutely stunning. So good. It is just unreal. Really, really is. It's such a credit to his talent. And it's always been the same. It's one of these where you may think, oh, well, it surely is only recent times where the repaints are taking the detail. No. The repaints from Mark Hodgkinson have always been this detail. Even when they were being done for the Man D92 and the Man SD86, or the SD77, sorry. The SD77 and the D86 and the D96, even when they were being made for those Berlin buses, the detail and the adverts and everything was just so on point. We are so looking forward around still in the OMSI world to create this absolutely beautiful repaint. Just why I do ask very nicely if there is any level of possibility of having the Little Nipper repaint, and possibly as well, not to be greedy, but possibly the Doncaster Darts. That would also be really cool, the first Barbie Doncaster Dart, because I know that Mark did make a few years ago a few First Bus Fade liveries that were really cool. Something that we are really missing in the OMS world is the sort of like the Fade era, the early 2000s of liveries, and sort of the 90s and things like that, and that's why this is so cool. 10 BLE. I won't mind some South Yorkshire overground liveries. I forget that it doesn't have that camera. I won't mind some South Yorkshire overground liveries for that. That would be really, really cool. It might just be easy doing this actually. Look, so it looks okay. I'm not going to get the screenshot angle that I wanted, but okay. Also sounds absolutely stunning. Just for the record. Now, when this bus was initially released, if you all remember,
hello driver.
There was a lot of controversy. I was very excited for the solo because obviously I have one. And with it being an AT545 Allison box, I was like, oh my god, that's really cool. And then when we got it, it was a little bit mid, and it was quite sad actually because we were expecting this incredibly good. Wilson, the sound just let it down. It really, really did the sound. So since then, a bit of work's been done, a few mods and things have come out, things like that. And as I say, pieced together the sounds that are just so much better. As I say, the wind up the gearbox as well. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And every time I drive this bus, it does remind me that I need to get my own on the road. It very much does remind me. There's a few little bits and bobs that need doing with my own bus at the moment. Alongside, obviously, the fact I've been busy with demo starts and there's possibly another project on the way. All sorts of stuff.
Hello, mate.
Bar all of that. Let's get the puppy as well. There we go. See, if I were driving something with ticketer, for some reason my top left HUD isn't working. For some reason, sometimes it does that. But I am just trying to check it, shift Y, and it hasn't worked. So if I did have a modern ticketer, it would be able to tell me at what time I'm due places and how late I really am. Pretty cool, but hey ho, we will keep on plodding on and see what time we get there. I don't think I'm doing too bad for time, but we'll see. Either way, this solo will be able to open up a little bit on the country roads, and it's pretty exciting. That's why initially I wasn't going to take this, as I say, I was initially going to do this video in a Decker, but having done about 3/4 of the route in a Decker already, I just didn't understand why it played up. Like the Blueprint Productions V7 is usually really gross, and for some reason it would just be really sensitive around the bends and on the brakes. It would like launching the camera. It would be really weird. It would like what the Omnidecker were like when that was first released. It was really odd. Really, really odd. So it was just one of these where, to be quite frank, when OBS did fail, I was actually a bit happy because it was just a pure hour and 20 minutes of me fighting the bus of just sort of breaking work. That is obviously not ideal in any shape or form. Yeah, it would be really nice to have the different livery on this, just as I say, replicating my own lovely solo. That would be really nice. Really, really nice. No hints at all in any shape or form, but it would be very nice to see that become a reality in this game, and possibly a good, high quality bar and livery of the basics of what South Yorkshire did. So Doncaster paint theirs ever so slightly different on the front, that would be really cool, and possibly some Doncaster dart action as well that would be sort of like nice and okay. But we'll see. For now though, as I said, this is absolutely stunning. I once again cannot get over this repaint. Every time I drive a Mark Hodgkinson repaint, they're just beautiful. I absolutely hate this blind spot, because it seems to just be, unless I tilt the camera like this, it seems to just be blocking out vans. But I nearly went again thinking that van was indicating off. I'll have to wait, sorry car. section that we are doing now, up to when we get to Curtin and Lindsay, is all the new bit. This has all just been made. This is all brand shiny new. Is this bit? All of this has been worked on. As I say, there are bits like one coming out of Lincoln that you may have noticed and gone, that doesn't look quite finished. And you would be right, it isn't finished, because that's why this is a work in progress now. It's still having bits of work done, but I've been given the honour by Mr. Boots to showcase that. It's absolutely beautiful. And as I say, it's about 99% there. Is this now? 99% is this map. A few bits pathing and sorting out the timetable and finalising that and bits like that to do, and then it was on. I do know that this map is intended for a release at some point during late winter, at the start of this year. It is intended for release around then. If for whatever reason it doesn't, just remember that it is one person working on a map as a side project, as a hobby. So sometimes things will change, things will pop up, sometimes things need changing, or sometimes something might be sorted at the last minute. So just bear that in mind. So if it doesn't get released, don't be disheartened, but so you are aware, it is worth mentioning, and it is hoping, hopefully to be released at the end of the month. As I say, this update version 5 will include this 4103 service in the drive, that in real life users environment 300s on a daily diagram, with the late night evenings services that I do believe are going to be included in the timetable, and they're operated sometimes by the deckers. The whole route can be done by decker, and a decker to Lincoln is very, very rare. I'm not sure it's actually ever happened in recent time, to be honest. But I know that the Curtin section does get deckers on a regular basis on the Friday and Saturday nights, so you can see. It will also include the full 47 and 47A, let's not forget that. That did feature in a video not so long ago, and there's a couple of videos on that one called Streetlight, for those who do remember, and I took that round 47, the 47 and 47A, the through full cross-town service is going to be included in the version 5 which means you will be able to travel from one side to the other. I don't mind this, I didn't apologise. We'll be able to drive from pretty much one side to the other of Retford, via Retford, for the first time, in order to replicate the full accurate. I'm going to pause this for a second because I don't quite know why we're losing frames. Really don't know why we're losing frames. I promise you, we're not losing frames that time I go, because I don't know what is going on. But now seems to be losing frames. My arms are 2 at the moment. It is playing up beyond belief. As I say, it's like the third attempt to record this video. It's not wanting to play ball at the moment. I mean, what I can put money on what it's currently trying to do is it's currently trying to get the time to do it. Unbeknownst reason. It's a busy boat. Didn't realise I was being boarded, to be fair. There we go, let's get another nice screenshot, because as I say, this livery is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's just been really, for some reason, it's just don't quite know what the rationale behind that is, but we'll keep going. We will persist. We will persist. I'm not tempted to record this video again. See, it's not the map. It is quite literally my opportunity to deciding to have a field day again. I am going to change the settings actually, because this is getting a bit silly, to be honest. Let's see if that's reset. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll let it reset, because this is a good way to reset it if you've not reset in OMSI 2 before. Is F11 it, because it will reset all the tiles, and then go back onto your base point that you are at, so obviously your bus doesn't drive off the side of the road or something. And usually, after a couple of seconds loading of bits, there we go, it'll sort the frame back. Yes, we've just had a lot of cars involved, but as you can see, the frame back. So a little life hack for you there. F11, press that, it'll ping you somewhere random, and then reset it, and that's reset the tiles. So it's not trying to load in the entirety of the Lincoln, even though we're not going to Lincoln. So there we go, that's a bit better. So as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the FPS deciding to be a bit weird. The Scunthorpe is used and operated by single hackers. You don't tend to get little things like this on it at all. I mean, I don't think Scunthorpe have any little buses now. I think it's all, I think the smallest things they've got are in Mirage 200s. They don't do this. There we go, RAF Scaffolding. Now this is the cool bit because I remember doing this section on the 103, and I do genuinely remember going down the road and then seeing that we're following the sign back to Scunthorpe, and I was like, what? I was like, come on, I want to go, I want to get to Lincoln. And then we pulled in here and I was like, that is so cool. It's so really random pulling into an RAF sort of base where a lot of people live and all of that lot. And then going out through the fence again. So cool. So yeah, we do now head back towards Lincoln. I am probably going to have to cut out in front of a car again, just as a heads up here, because it just doesn't seem to be a break. Again, it is a work in progress, so just bear that in mind when we do get annihilated by a car. Oh, I might be able to get out actually. Oh, come on, it's a small bus, so yeah, we did Lincoln. But as you can see, little bits like that will be sorted, like the imagine the speed limit will be reduced ever so slightly along here, would help, possibly reducing the amount of cars down here as well. But again, that is developer side, and if you need that's why we've not done 100% forward about smashing into AI traffic, bits like that, we're not another thing I have noticed that is worth mentioning, again, it is work in progress map. Probably why we had a little bit of a lag there. It seems to be, because this bit's only just been added, it seems to be a little bit funny when loading Lincoln. Now, as I say, I don't know whether that is just OMSI being OMSI. I mean, it is OMSI being OMSI, but I don't know if it is a rectifiable thing. So if you do, as I say, get this map, it might be all sorted. If not, just bear in mind that you might have a little bit of frame loss in Lincoln when you go there from this angle, just for some bizarre reason. As I say, OMSI 2 doesn't like that. Sometimes there's some things that OMSI 2 does that you just can't explain, and that's you can't explain why it decides to play this direction. We're all working now, as I say, sometimes site coordinates are the same, travellers are the same. A quick F11 reset just helps your frames if you are struggling. Especially good those of you who are possibly using lower end devices like I used to do, because the F11 can just reset what tiles are loaded in, because although OMSI 2 will tell you that it is only loading in 2 or 3 neighbouring tiles, it usually loads in about a third of the map. It's like, yeah, hope for the best, good luck sort of attitude. And that's especially an issue when you've got like a city like Lincoln, for example. It's highly intimate, where it just has a little bit of a frenzy, but again, it is a lovely map. My usual video reminder that this project by Mr. Rooster allows you to drive all the way from Scunthorpe to Lincoln, Scunthorpe to Gainsborough, Gainsborough to Retford, Gainsborough to Lincoln, and literally everywhere else in between. This map is free to download you can genuinely, if you started driving on this map and sort of did the whole thing, like let's say you wanted to go to Retford and you wanted to do drive to Gainsborough, then drive to Scunthorpe, then drive to Lincoln, you have got a good 3 or 4 hours worth of driving. Like there is so much road, so much route, and it wasn't like when Mr. Moose took on this project and went, initially as I say it started off the Gainsborough, took on the project and went, oh, it'd be cool to just do all the locals and on long run. No. It was a case of let's include the long runs. That's very exciting. As I say, being able to do 100 all the way through, that is a route I am going to be doing very, very soon. I am going to be driving 100 all the way through because, believe it or not, it's still something I've not done properly. So I do really want to do that. Very soon you can drive the 100, you can drive the 95. I mean, as I say, you've got your locals. If you fancy your local runs, you can do your 47, your 122s around Gainsborough. And then you've got all the random bits like 106, the 101, this. So much, so much, and it's so cool, and it's free. And it's not like I'm saying free and you've got to buy another DLC for 30 quid for it to work. No, all of the objects and bits are reused freeware objects, some of which require sort of map downloads, some of which just require scenery pack downloads. You can get this map up and running for free, and driving for free. It's just absolutely like mind-blowing. And I would argue it is substantially better than some of the payware maps on the market. By a mile better than some of them. Definitely is. And it's the clever way that the objects are being used as well. I mean, you go along these roads, like let's say you look at Scampton Village on Google Maps, it will look near enough identical to how this looks in the game right now. Like that is the level of detail and the level of skill that Mr. Moose has, where it is not just the keen eye detail, but the level of skill in being able to utilise pre-existing objects in a way that makes them look like something from real life from this location. And as I say, it showcases as well that you don't actually need to be really skilled in Blender to have a crack at making a map. Like, there's that much out there, and as long as you've got the skills and patience and passion, you can just make absolute beauty like this route. I mean, as I say, we're going through all the different villages, and I tell you, if you haven't already seen the other video, you won't know that it does get, like, the scenery just keeps getting better and better and better as you go along this. It's so nice. Really is just spot on is the scenery around here. I mean, then you've also got like the 367 that you can do, the runs for Curtin Lindsay to Gainsborough, the one of the shop bus in real life. That's pretty cool. It's got that, and as I say, it's just got so much. It's also well meticulously put together too. It is just amazing. I mean, something I would like to see next, obviously after this version 5's done and after Mr. Moose has had a break, I would love to see another sort of link made on these maps. So don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Doncaster. I want to see Doncaster, I want to see stuff like that on it, because that'd be cool. I do think it'd be cool. However, in a more sort of like shorter term, realistic thought, I'd really like to see the new Black Cat Travel number 2. I have knocked over pedestrian. Excellent. Why is that on? Why did the pedestrian walk? Why did the passenger alight the bus and then walk on? Okay, this is going really well, everybody. I have never ever had that notice come up. I need to change my settings. To be fair, I don't tend to knock people over, but the guy decided he was going to walk right in front of the bus in the blind spot as the van had let me go. Oh dear. What a video. What? But again, this is a work in progress. I do blame that partially on the bus and having pink people or lighting people off the bus. The bus model is slightly responsible for that. However, progressed. Just worth mentioning at that point. And I promise you, when I did the run with V7 Gemini, we didn't have any incidents with cars, we didn't have any incidents with lag, we didn't have anything at all. The only thing that was the problem was the bus. It is so typical that we choose a bus which is which is lower poly, which is smaller, which is friendlier for higher frame rate, and it is just typical that when we do that and record the video, everything goes wrong. Absolutely typical. So if you are still here, thank you. It's just not my run, quite catastrophic, but not my run. But there's also something really therapeutic about driving through the Lincolnshire countryside. It's just going from village to village. It's really, really nice. It's just, as I say, the scenery is lovely. The variety of scenery is lovely. And again, as I have said, I still cannot believe that this is free. It's just absolutely baffles me that all of this you can download it for free and drive it for free. And I would argue that this, strongly argue that this is one of the best maps that you can get in OMSI. Let's see what time we're on. I have no idea. Oh, I've lost it. We're about on time, I think. We'll just keep progressing. We will keep progressing. As long as OBS keeps moving, we're all good. Yeah, this really does remind me that I need to get my own solo back on the road. I really, really do. That'll be a 2026 job. My job for this year on well. Because it's just something that just took the sideline. Obviously, I've acquired steady starts. I've been busy with life. Life has ended up just being all over as well. I mean, the stuff with pulleys, maybe some bits and bobs like that. There's just been so much has gone on. So much has gone on. It has just been unreal. Absolutely unreal. And I've just not had much time to think. I lost my passion for the hobby for quite a number of months. It became really tough to film videos and go out and get the motivation to go out. And as we sort of got closer to Christmas, it's just gone. It actually got worse. To such a degree I just wasn't interested at all. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing and just wasn't me. So yeah, for those of you that do watch this, I mean, you always all get the inside intel on this channel. That's how it works here. You have a good chinwag and I give you some sneak peeks. One of the sneak peeks that might surprise quite a few of you is I have left Andrews. I did leave from the time this video comes out a couple of weeks ago. I left the company on sin and I left. There was various reasons behind that that I am not going to go into detail of. It's not the time or place to do that. There were various reasons why I left. It was something that I needed to do. It was something I needed to do for my health, and it was something I needed to do to feel better. It was something I needed to do to gain a little bit of passion back, gain a little bit of enthusiasm back, and just be happier again. And I never thought it would get to that stage. I never did. I never thought it would. But it just got to the stage where I just seriously wasn't enjoying it. Again, various reasons behind that I will not delve into now. But there's still 2 series worth of videos that I did film. I filmed quite a lot prior to putting my notice in. I filmed quite a lot of bits and bobs or just before sort of Christmas time. So they're all coming out still. So there's still 2 series worth. That'll cover things while I find the feet and sort of things like that. I have found somewhere else that I'm driving a little bit more permanent for those of you that know how I work. For those of you who don't, I am casual. It does mean moving around places. However, as with many of the casual employees, like to have one place that I work at a little bit more than others, and I have now found that new place to replace Andrews. I have got somewhere that I am driving a little bit more permanently. I absolutely love it. I really enjoy it. It's not the most exciting thing in the world for most people, but I enjoy what I do. It's fun. It's a laugh. Get paid now. You can enjoy working, and hopefully give me a little bit of time to get myself back into the hobby, get my enthusiasm back. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening as we sort of go through this year. A lot of exciting projects in the background that I'm working on, so it'd be really, really nice to get some passion back. Really nice to get some passion back. Really nice to get some enthusiasm back, and just enjoy it. I want to do it. It has been so long, so long since I have probably enjoyed it. I mean, I haven't done many bus rallies. I just didn't have the motivation to go to them, and yeah, it all got a little bit sad at one point, to be honest. So it is really, really nice, as I say, that I'm finding some. I'm still finding my feet. I've only been sort of there for weeks now. Finding my feet a little bit, get myself on something, and yeah, enjoying it. That is the main thing that matters. It might not be the most exciting driving job in the world, but as long as I enjoy it, brings in some cash, I have a laugh along the way. That is what matters to me. That is what matters to me. And it means that with all the hours out and things like that, I get more time to focus on bits and the YouTube channels, which brings me on to the discussion about the name change. So, Ammo Virtual Bus has become Simulation Section. The idea is this is a lovely section on YouTube where you can join me from good old natter and a chinwag and some simulator driving. Hopefully a little bit better than what you've witnessed in this video. Hopefully, cross fingers, that we don't have fans driving into us and massive on-test solo side blind spots in play. So, yeah, hopefully, as I say, I promise you this is just a day. I have actually been driving real life buses today. I only finished about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So, yeah, and I have to sort of get the computer because I'm adamant I'm going to get this done. I want to do this full route. I want to get this video out to you all. It's about 3 attempts in the making. I really want to do it, so I'm sorry I'm sitting down doing it. Basically, the idea behind the rebrand is we're going to be broadening out a little bit what we do. Now, very, very recently, in sort of like the past week or so, week or two, I have managed to get back into Train Simulator. That is something I have been wanting to do for a fair bit. I entirely blame me getting back into Train Simulator. Fully on. We'll pick that back a little bit. Just editing the sound because I don't know how well you can hear me. How is that? Has that worked? Yeah, it has. There we go. I'm a little bit higher. As long as I'm a little bit higher than the gameplay. If you've had any issues hearing me up to that point, do let me know. Apologies. But hopefully that will just reduce it just a tad. I am conscious that I am trying to edit the sound accordingly. I'm trying to get the sweet spot. The problem is each bus has a different sound, loudness and twang and all of that lot. So it is really difficult to get it spot on for every single one, but I'm trying. But basically, I've got back into Train Simulator. I entirely blame the release of the Airedale and Wharfdale line for Train Simulator as the reason for me getting back into it. I also blame that for taking £30 of my money. That is not something, I don't usually just instantly slap down 30 quid. I am going to be honest, I am Yorkshire, so there's obviously a reason behind it. And for me, the Airedale and Wharfdale lines hold a very, very, very special place in my heart, because as I was growing up, yes, I did odd train trips to places like York, Manchester, Blackpool, stuff like that. But the majority of my time growing up on the trains was spent on the Airedale lines and on the Wharfdale line, going between Bradford Forster Square, as they call it on the announcements, or they used to, this is the Bradford Forster Square train, as they used to shout, and then they go, this is Frising Hall, and they were just absolutely belted. This was long before the current Northern announcements. These were the OG original automated announcements on the triple threes for the Airedale line of Wharfdales. But we used to go Bradford Foster Square to Skipton and Keighley and Shipley. We used to do Ilkley, we'll go Leeds, Skipton, absolutely all sorts. We used to go to Keighley Worthvalley Railway. It was like solidly my childhood. It was the Airedale and Wharfdale line, and when I found out it had been released from Train Simulator, I saw my very good friend Joe Dobson's video. I thought, yeah, let's get that. So I've spent quite a lot of time working on various bits. The dependency for that map turned out that it required.
Oh yeah.
It required the North Wales line to Holyhead. That when I worked out what line it was, and I worked out it was the Holyhead line, I was like, yeah. Yeah, I've been on that line a couple of times as a passenger, let's go and drive it. So I've also gained the Holyhead line, that's really cool, so I can drive to the ferry in 175s and 158s and Voyagers, that, again, so cool. I've got that, and I think I bought something else as well. Can't remember what I bought. I bought something else. I sort of went on a little bit of a shopping spree, because why not? Treated myself, as you do. So yeah, we'll get back into that. I've also managed to install a few DLCs I previously had, and a few modifications. The one that I am proudest of is managing to install the Class 155, so we can now drive 155s. I am going to have to make some custom scenarios, just to use the stock that I do have. That's curb. Just to use the stock that I do have, so please do look out for the custom scenarios. I'm going to try and use some of the ones that are there already, and I'll obviously add a few of my own, just so we can use things like the 155 sets and the 150s that I've got, the 151s and 150-2, 156, because again I've got the 156 and that's really cool, and I know that they have on the odd occasion done the South Carlisle line from Leeds, so obviously that goes up to Skipton. So again, things like that to consider that. So it's also worth noting, while we're on this section of route, just to divert ever so slightly off the topic of the simulation section and the new channel rebrand, is the fact that we have passed through somewhere called Hemswell Cliff. Now, the 103, the brands have sort of been disbanded in more recent times, sadly. But the 103 was known, and there is a repaint in OMSI 2 made by another one of my good friends, Danny Deering, of the old 103 brand, which was called the Cliffsider. Now, it was always a weird one, because it was like, why is a route that goes from inside Lincolnshire to inside Lincolnshire via the middle of Lincolnshire called the Cliffsider? Don't pull out on me, Minnie. Goodness me. And the reason is because it goes via Hemswell Cliff. Hemswell Cliff's the village, and that's why it goes past. That's why it's called Cliffsider, because it goes from Hemswell Cliff. I don't know if there's a geographical landform there, possibly is, or there's possibly some history behind it, but that's why it's called Cliffsider. The Stagecoach Cliffsider repaint that part of Danny Deering was amazing, because it came back for the railing. You can drive the Cliffsider livery on here. It is something I am going to do in a future video, probably when the map's released publicly. I will have a little drive of that in the Cliffsider livery, because it's cool. I really wanted to just drive this livery because it has just come out, and I also think it's cool. But yeah, just worth mentioning that that's why it's called Cliffsider. I have a timetable leaflet somewhere on this route. Goodness knows where, from like 2013, 2015, when it was the Cliffsider brand. I do need to pick that out. It's somewhere in the archives.
Hello, driver.
When I say somewhere in the archives, that means literally anywhere. Over 2 separate properties. It could be anywhere. Or 3 actually, 3 separate locations. Geographical locations within Yorkshire. That leaflet could be. I know I definitely have it, I just need to find it. yeah, as I was saying with simulation section, with Train Simulator, hopefully coming into it, I have managed to, I've done a lot of work to get Train Simulator to a standard in which I'm happy to record. I've made sure I've upped the graphic settings, so we are actually going to have detailed routes. We did have an issue where it just wasn't wanting to work before. I have sorted out the graphics, so it will be high quality train action with high quality graphics. That is very exciting. So we've got that to look forward to. And after a couple of years of fighting it, I have finally nearly broke the Train Simulator startup as a result, but I have managed to get it so that OBS can record it, and I can still drive it. So I'm still going to be able to drive it, and OBS is going to be able to record it, so we are actually going to be able to do videos properly. That's really exciting again. So cool, so cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your suggestions and ideas and things like that I should be driving, that I can have a little go at. Really looking forward to it. Really am excited to get into the swing of things. I've got plenty of units I want to drive. I am a DMU person, so there's going to be a lot of DMU action, I'm afraid. Those that may like more local hold stuff, there'll be a lot of DMU action, possibly a bit of local hold action. I have acquired some enhancement packs and bits like that, so there is the possibility some more local action, but we'll have to see. As I say, the DMUs are my priority, and now I pretty much have, apart from 195 and 331, obviously, I pretty much have Northern Rail unit bingo with all the units that I have installed, which again is very exciting. So the plan as well with the channel as we go into 2026 is to increase the videos back to 2 a week, hopefully. The idea is on an average week, although it might change depending on releases in Train Sim and in OMSI 2. The idea is to do one video a week on Train Sim and one on OMSI 2, with the possibility that more might arrive each week. So the idea is this channel's very much going to stand alone from what we do at Ammo Central. I am still going to obviously talk about Ammo Central. I'm going to talk about videos coming up and stuff like that. But because that focuses on real life, that's going to be a totally separate entity to this. I am going to look to rebrand the channel. As you'll see, it's still some Plus Videos banner and stuff like that. I am going to be sorting that out and making a dedicated logo for this channel as well, just so it has its own identity. If you are interested in contributing towards the banner, or you have an art qualification or an interest in Photoshop and art and editing, I would like to contribute or possibly help you make the simulation section channel banner, please do let me know. I would love to hear from you. As I say, pop us an email at amc.ammocentral@gmail.com with any ideas or suggestions and bits like that you've got. That is the best place for me. I am still going to be keeping the same email because it is still part of the Ammo Central group of channels, so it's still going to have a little bit of part of Ammo Central, but I do want this to be separate, just purely because we're going to be doing a lot more gaming. The schedule will be a little bit different on this one, so this will be more fluid. I will aim for, as I say, 2 videos a week, so that'll be one Train Sim, one OMSI 2. Usually might change some weeks, depending on what's released and bits like that. However, that'll be the basic plan. Do let people know that might be interested in watching. Do let people know and what have, because I'm here. I'm here, I'm filming videos, all of that lot. And do keep sending in your suggestions in the comment below, all of that lot, liking the videos, sharing the videos, all of that stuff, so they can keep the channel growing. That would be really nice. It'll also allow me, that I am very much looking forward to get back into the OMSI 2 editing, as I did mention in the New Year's Day special. I've mentioned that I am going back into editing the buses that I am. I'm going to be doing scenario creation and editing for Train Simulator once I get my head around it again. So I'll be doing that very soon. That'll be exciting, getting some scenarios done once I'm settled in with the basic stuff already. So once I've done all of that stuff, I'll be getting back into it. So I've got that to look forward to. And we've obviously got OMSI 2 editing that will be featuring on the channel. I will be doing it on the channel as live streams, because again, this is the home of OMSI Live. It is still going to be called More Central Live, because that's what it is. It's OMSI Live. It's me live. But as I say, it'll be nice to be a separate entity. The schedules won't run alongside what is on the other two channels. This will just be totally standalone, totally on its own, and as I say, a bit more fluid. That I'm really looking forward to, because as I say, it's nice to do the simulation stuff. I should hopefully have a little bit more free time with the new job to be doing bits like this, and hopefully a bit more time to edit stuff with all that exciting bits and bobs. I do also have a couple of other exciting maps installed, one of which is Hertfordshire, that I was on about some time ago reinstalling, and I just didn't get a chance. That's like this, what we're doing now, the 103, where it is a longer route. I know that some of you aren't as much of a fan of the longer route videos as others, so don't worry, there will still be shorter videos in there. There's still there's some days I will wake up, I only want to do like a 20-30 minute drive. Some days like today, I want to do an hour and a half, I want to do the full route. So there'll still be a healthy mix, because as I say, some of you watching this video, actually love it, but there are some people that do watch it that probably haven't made it to this point, because they only like a little short video. So we'll do a nice variety to cater for everyone, cater for what everybody wants to watch, and obviously cater for what I want to do as well. That is a nice variety of content, just to keep it fresh and exciting. This is that giveaway. I totally didn't forget about the giveaway again. For those of you that have watched my E200 MMC video, you will recall that I absolutely shot over that junction without looking, and that is because I genuinely didn't realise it was there, because all the warning that you get on this road, because it is a back road in like Lincolnshire, all the warning that you get is literally the giveaway. There is no giveaway in so-and-so yards, there is nothing. It is all of a sudden you come around the corner and giveaway. So yeah, for those of you that did watch that video and was like, oh, I didn't look at that junction, he just went. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because I wasn't aware that it was a giveaway. And I'd already got the power up. I'd already started absolutely like flooring it at that point. So it was kind of like a whoopsie moment. It is such a lovely sounding bus, is this. I am actually, at the time that I'm filming this, I am filming this on New Year's Eve. I am going to have drinks afterwards. I'm just getting this filmed because it's been annoying me. And I am filming this sort of like a week before it comes out, so New Year's Eve. So the New Year's Day special comes out tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going out on an AT545 Optare Solo, hopefully, as long as it's working and it does its job and it behaves. I am going on one of them tomorrow. I am incredibly ecstatic because I haven't been on my AT545 Solo for quite some time, because it's been so I am absolutely buzzing with excitement to have a ride on this one that I'm going on tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm taking my own bus out, there'll be a video coming out on that soon. I have slightly changed how I'm doing the scheduling with the reserve buses that I've got, and the videos are going to be a little bit more frequent than I'd initially planned, just purely because of how I'm filming them and what's going on with them and all that exciting stuff. So yeah, and as I said, there's a possibility that there might be another thing in the pipeline with that as well. Whether it happens or not, I don't know at the moment, but there is a possibility that something else might appear. Possibly. No promises in any shape or form. But there is a possibility that something might appear. It might appear, it might pop up. And if it does, it will be very exciting. It is something I'm working on behind the scenes at the moment. Once again, I'm always working on something behind the scenes to me. So it's something, once again, behind the scenes. I am really hoping it all comes together. It might do, it might not, but we'll see. Either way, it will feature on the More Central channel if it does come to fruition. If if not, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on with my Dennis starts. And as I say, there was some coverage on the Optare Solo once I get the button gear and crack on with it. That again is hopefully a January and a February job, because I really want that on the road for the rally season for this year, because I want to take it to rallies. I want to take it to running days and bits like that, and take it to some running days, take darts to some running days, and do bits like that. That were really cool. Speaking of running days, I have launched, as a few of you will have already seen, I have launched the Pennines Bus Day for 2026, which will take place on the 2nd of August 2026 this year. It is a Sunday, with buses running between 10 o'clock and approximately 4:30 from Halifax to Calderdale, to the more scenic parts of Calderdale and the Pennines. We get buses that visit us from all over. I can't even say all over the country because it's beyond that. This year we're looking likely to have vehicles attending us from the likes of Cornwall, from the likes of London, from the likes of the North East, possibly Scotland. We're going to also have vehicles coming over from Ireland, definitely the Republic of Ireland, possibly Northern Ireland as well, all to come along for the day to drive on the routes for your enjoyment. It is fastly becoming one of the premier big bus days in the north, is the Pennines Bus Day, and as I say, we get bigger every single year, with us running probably the most scenic bus routes you can sample on a preserved bus. They do not get more scenic than the 565 to Devonshire. When you go over Scamenden Bridge over the highest part of the M62, you go down the Pennines, and then back up again up the A58 on an X12, and going the other side past the M62 and past the house in the middle of the motorway, which again is just absolutely stunning. I have worked very, very hard since 2019 from humble beginnings to make the running day what it is. Oh, we got a yay, 103. Never burst. I worked very, very hard to get that running day to where it is. Very, very hard. And as I say, every year it just keeps growing. I won't be able to do it without the amazing people we've got. As I say, we've already got vehicle entries in for August. We've got such a dedicated team of individuals and people that just love what we do, that we've already got stuff booked in from quite far afield, to be fair. Quite far afield stuff's already booked in. And for this year, alongside the Pennines Bus Day, I'm also happy to announce that after 2 years in the planning, I am going to be using 2026 to launch our second bus day, which is the Peak District Bus Day, which will take a very, very similar approach as the Pennines Bus Day does, with a regular selection of bus services running from about 10 o'clock till about 4 o'clock from Bakewell Square to the most scenic parts of the Peak District and the Hope Valley, with buses operating all across, from regular services to some Hully style, old Hullies of Baslow style specials, where we take buses down the roads that you've seen in the YouTube channel, where you've seen me take buses down roads on the channel and gone, goodness me, should be taking a bus down there. On the 20th of September, you will be able to sample free bus services down the majority of those routes that you have seen on the channel and gone, oh my goodness me, I want to go on that. You will actually be able to go on them. I'll have my own buses out, I'll be out driving, and we'll have a very, very large host of visiting vehicles. Anybody that is interested in taking part, be it you are watching this video or you want a bus or coach and go, oh, that'd be good, can pop us an email at communitybusdays@gmail.com to book your bus in. We are also, you can also view both events, both bus days on Facebook. You can find them at Peak District Community Bus Day and Pennines Community Bus Day. Just a little bit of a plug, as you do. But we've got them this year. There is also the possibility of a third one. Again, it involves me emailing and sorting things. This, as usual, usual, is easier said than done. It will be something I will do at some point very soon. But as I say, there might be the possibility of a third in the works. Depends on what partnerships we get. So lots of exciting stuff currently. 2026 is looking to be an absolute belter of a year for both me, for the channel, for bus rallies, for preserved vehicles, for life. It should be a belter of a year. Lots of exciting stuff like that. As this year has not been the best, but to be honest, and everybody I've spoken to, they've not had that much. Or this 2025, so it's just gone. For those of you watching this video as it comes out, 2025 has not been the best of years. Definitely not for me. Losing job and various other bits and bobs going wrong. But we've made it, and as I say, 2026 is looking like it's going to have an incredibly bright future ahead. So, as I say, stick around. Lots of exciting stuff for the YouTube. As I say, simulation section, as it is now known. Dedicated simulator videos. Basically living life like we used to do when it was Ammo Central did the simulator stuff. Living that sort of thing, because I know Sim absolutely loved it. And as I say, it's going to be so exciting to get back into it. So it is worth noting that since we were at Curtin and Lindsay, we are now back onto the pre-existing section which you can drive in version 4 of Lincolnshire. It is worth noting that the whole map has had work done for version 5, so there'll be some bits that you will see between now and Scunthorpe that are a bit different to what you see when you drive to version 4. That's because Mr. Moose has worked on the entire map, sorted out teething issues and bits like that, made sure things are all perfect and spot on, and added extra detail and extra bits of accuracy to make the map even better than what it was. So I thought it's just like, I didn't know you could make it any better. I thought it was just absolutely phenomenal as it was. But yes, a lot of work has been done to this, and as I say, it is worth noting that bits will have been done on these sections, up to like Scunny and bits like that, just to sort of make things look a little bit better, touch bits up, all of that stuff. So as I say, when you get version 5, it will be the best one yet. The best one yet. Now, as I say, as I do say that, it is worth noting that the Lincoln bits are still having a bit of work. That is why this work in progress, I was given this at the back end of December. Obviously, since I've been given this map, work will have already happened. There'll still be bits that have been sorted, possibly a few bits on the Lincoln end, and a few bits that you may have noticed that I haven't noticed that will be worked on, because, as I say, there will be stuff that Mr. Moose is quite aware of. So things will get worked on, things I've always done, and as I say, remember, it is just one person doing all of this. Again, just blows my mind that one person's made all of this.
Oh, yeah.
It really, really does. Really, really blows my mind. Just looks so... I still cannot get over how nice this livery looks. Just looks so good on this bus. Really, really does. As I say, some Doncaster Dart action and possibly first mainline red and yellow would look good on this, I think. Alongside the nipper, just to clarify, the SYT nipper would also look absolutely amazing. Or South Yorkshire PTE, sorry. The South Yorkshire PTE nipper would also look amazing. Again, I don't think I've hinted it enough that my bus is painted in that livery. I'd really like to drive it in OMSI. Just a shameless plug. I haven't heard all like that before yet. So.
Hi, Hanson.
So here we go, we're now back onto the 100 and 101 route. We last saw these routes in Lincoln because they go around the front of the railway station, we don't. So we last saw them there. They've shot off to Gainsborough and done all of that stuff. And now we join on the main drag from Messingham up to Ashby and then from Ashby into Scunthorpe. So we should, I would imagine, be there in about 15 minutes time, I would hope. All goes to plan. this is definitely an area I do intend to explore again. Since I was last in Scunthorpe in an enthusiast capacity, because since then I have actually done quite a lot of work for my job, or one of my jobs in Scunthorpe. I spent most of last summer actually in Scunthorpe, randomly, but it was all for the railways, all the train stations, so I didn't do much involving the town centre and buses at all. Since I sort of last did a proper bus adventure involving Scunthorpe, Stagecoach didn't run as much further afield that they do now as Scunny. Nowadays they run Saturdays on the 399 all the way from Scunny to Doniger, and the Hornsbys do that. They now do the 360 and 361 to Gould that East Yorkshire used to do. And East Yorkshire have fully quit Scunthorpe now with the 350 board being withdrawn. So that's gone that they did, so that's all now Stagecoach and run that fully. So it has all changed. Something I do really want to record and show you all is the 360 and the 361 services. I went on last about 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, with East Yorkshire Motor Services. I was staying on holiday in Wivensea, and I made a big adventure. Not Wivensea. That was when I was in York actually. I stayed in York and I caught a bus to Selby, then caught a bus to Gould, and then did a return with the 360, the 361, 360 and the 361. I did the 361 down to Scunny and then the 360 back to Gould, and it was an absolute corker of a day. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What's good about the 361 360 is there is a colleague interworked in it in some shape or form, but Scunthorpe still use deckers on it. So it's either tried at 2 E400s or E40D double deckers that are going down all these rural country lanes in between Gould and Scunthorpe, and it's sort of like part of the world that people do really forget about, but it's so scenic. You're going over all these bridges, like over Umber Bridge and round docks round Gould and all of that bit, like the old port bit round Gould, and then you go through all the country lanes. It's like Fenlands. Then you go past a load of villages that all have the old Lincolnshire road car bus stops still in use, so you pass all them. And it's such a cool route, so much of a nice bus route. Is that 361 and that 360. So I really do want to showcase them on the channel. I do have a plan in place in some shape or form, which would involve that and possibly doing the Hornsby's 399, as I know that quite a lot of you have mentioned that. You have mentioned that exists. I am aware it exists. I just haven't had a chance to do it. I've never done the Doncaster to Scunthorpe runs before. I did like the last couple of weeks of Miles coaches. I did a pulsar on the 291 to Austin Ferry and back. I did that. Quite a moody driver from them. I remember the driver was really moody, like seriously on an attitude. But it was a nice enough run. The route itself. But obviously it's all changed now. 291 doesn't exist, and it is just a 399. And that goes all the way through to West Woodside. Back in the day, that used to sort of finish, and now it extends all the way up to Scunny and Doncaster. So it's like a through service through Austin Ferry and that lot. It is a route I really want to do. Just travel on a bus through all the scenic bits of the Isle of Axholme up to Doncaster, because why not? So that is something I will be doing soon, probably the same day, I imagine. Yeah, I've got a plan together for that. A plan of an incredibly intense day, I must add, but a plan nevertheless that's always good. A plan that would see me start my day with Leeds, go up to York, go down to Selby, across to Gould, down to Scunthorpe, across to Doncaster. So it would be an absolutely intense day beyond belief, but it would be incredibly fun. And that is what matters. What matters. An incredibly fun, cool and exciting day. Because why not? Why not? I mean, to be fair, as I do say that, it would definitely be a time day. As I've just thought about it all in my head, and I'm like, yeah, that would be fun. Although what's good about that part of the world is the buses are relatively direct, so it's like you can go York to Selby in about an hour. You can go Selby to Goulden in about an hour. The bus to Scunny is about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half, something like that, an hour and 40 at a push. So it's all pretty plain sailing. Just something I need to plan. Something I need to plan, and as I am driving virtually up to Scunthorpe, it is something that popped into my head. Is it? These lights are taking forever. To be fair, I do remember these actually when I last drove this route, that these lights don't have to take forever to change. But what I also like, if you're still watching at this point, thank you. I hope you're enjoying the video. I hope you're enjoying the AT545 Allison gearbox sounds on the 103. It's cool. And what I would like to hear from you all as well is suggestions on what videos you'd like to see, what maps you'd like to see, what buses you'd like to see, and for Train Simulator, what routes you'd like to see, trains you'd like to see me drive, that kind of thing. And I can see what I can make happen, because why not? It would be cool. Today we have Ashby, so possibly 5-10 minutes tops, and we should be in sunny Scunthorpe. What's lovely about driving this solo is you can go around the bend like that, and you don't even have to worry about sort of like how wide you go to swing it. Like, it's just spot on. But I'm also like really busy ahead. Well, we've just ended up once again being busy. And yet I still cannot go over how nice this repaint is. As I say, I saw that Mark Hodgkinson had released a new repaint, and I was like excited, because it is always exciting. As someone that loves everything South Yorkshire, whenever you see Mark Hodgkinson has released something, 9 times out of 10 it's South Yorkshire, and if it's not South Yorkshire, it's somewhere very close to South Yorkshire. I mean, we've had Andrew's repaints, Andrew's Omnibus that was an operator based in Sheffield, repaints for them released. We've had repaints, as I said, for PTE in the past. I would like to see some more PTE repaints. I'd thoroughly enjoy a repaint on the B9 replicating 37524. That would personally very much satisfy my requirements, because I love that bus. I mean, I've seen it about 4 or 5 times in Sheffield today, earlier in the day, going around on the it was on the 47th and 48th today. And I've seen that going round and round, and it is such a pleasing livery. It looks so good, even though it does look a little bit tired now, it still looks so good. And I will be really, really sad when that one does get put on. I really will when that one goes. As I say, the PTE colours like 37524 in OMSI 2 in the brown and cream would be cool. Possibly the SYT one as well, because we've had SYT in the past that was pretty exciting. We have had SYT liveries. As I say, we've got a lot for the right path. If you do look back in the archives, I don't know how much you can still obtain now, because a lot of it unfortunately was on the Aussie X servers that have long since gone. For those of you that remember the Aussie X servers, for those of you that don't remember them, they were the thing before Fellas Film was a thing. It's the best way to put it. They were the Fellas Film of their time. Like, loads of old repaints were on there, loads of old maps were on there, buses were on there. When those servers went down, a lot was lost. A lot of the right path stuff predominantly, but to be fair, by that point we had moved very much over to left path, and thankfully a lot of the UK maps had already been uploaded to Fellas Film before it went down. So we had all of them, there was no issue with them being lost. just sounds so good. Speed camera van. And also, what's really good about this route and this map generally is when you've done a route like this, it does really feel like you've achieved something. Like you have gone from Lincoln to Scunthorpe, and that's part of the thing of like driving in simulator games. It's like I've achieved something. I've not just gone round and round in circles 20 times. Like I've actually like driven an hour and a half all the way from Lincoln to Scunthorpe in a simulator game. Like we are actually in Scunthorpe now. Like that is the train station of which I spent most of my summer at. For those of you that did see me there, hello. Because a few of you did. Not many of you, but a few of you did. A few of you found me. A few of the local Scunthorpe enthusiasts found me. On the left here, there is also a very, very nice Wetherspoons. I remember when I first went to Scunthorpe actually to do some work that was totally separate from what I did this summer, bizarrely. I did an evening there, and I quite enjoyed a lovely tea at the Wetherspoons. And at that point, Scunthorpe was still using Dennis Darts. They were literally like, I think, 2 or 3 weeks away from withdrawal. It was quite a sort of like just before. And I remember sitting in the Wetherspoons, looking out the window where that furniture place is on the left, because that's where the Wetherspoons is, and just watching these Dennis Darts go up and down on the late night 1As, because the drivers had the choice of like all sorts of E300s and other bits and bobs, but they chose the old stuff because they loved driving it. So it was just these two Dennis Darts going round all night, just watching them whizzing up and down. So cool, so cool. There we are on the main Scunthorpe drag now. Although it would be nice to have a model of a newer Optare Solo in the game, possibly an expansion of this pack. That would be really nice to see sort of a newer one, with possibly a newer Merc engine or a Cummins engine in. This for me is just spot on. The old style dash, the old sounds, an M850, it's solid. You cannot go wrong with one of these. I genuinely thought that person was about to step out, that I'm not having a second incident of you have run a person over that has walked in front of you. So I couldn't believe that one in that village. It jumped off the bus, it pinged into the other side of the vehicle, and then he proceeded to walk right into the side of the bus and got set off. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So here we go, arriving into Scunthorpe, so we'll offload everybody at the set down stand. Not in service stagecoaches. May as well chuck on the blind, because why the hell not? So there we go. 1 hour and about 10 minutes ish after we departed Lincoln bus station, we have arrived into Scunthorpe, possibly a little bit earlier than the timetabling, but because my sort of left side HUD wasn't working for some reason. I just kept driving, wasn't too worried about it. People were still waiting at the bus stop, so we can't have been that bad for time. And to be fair, I think if there was anybody else waiting at the bus stops, we'd have left them behind, so it wouldn't have made much difference whatsoever. So, with all that in mind, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Apologies about the rocky start to it for some bizarre reason. That was just getting unlucky, just Lincoln being unlucky Lincoln for some bizarre reason. But apart from that, it's been a really nice video. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it. I've enjoyed driving